Welcome to African Business. Good to have you with us.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me.
So, what is your overall take, Professor, on the Canal Plus takeover of MultiChoice?
Yeah, I think it's a topical issue right now because, as you know, that if Canal Plus successfully takes over DSTV or MultiChoice, it would become one of the biggest television stations, satellite television stations in Africa, pretty much controlling almost like 80% of the market share. And that certainly, from a competition point of view, one would think that deal was not supposed to go through. But we are almost at the tail end where we are almost seeing that there's an approval that has already been given, and that it's likely that it's going to go ahead. And if that happens, and unfortunately, from a competition point of view, there would be what we call market concentration. So media concentration is likely to become one of the big things that we are going to deal with going forward.
I mean, we are seeing progress as far as South Africa is concerned, leaning on the deal being passed through. But we are experiencing and seeing some snags in Ghana. And with developments there, how likely will Canal Plus acquire MultiChoice in that country? Do you think that they might change their strategy to being a territorial acquisition as opposed to being global or throughout the continent?
Yeah, I think that the issues that we are seeing happening in Ghana tells us a lot in terms of the relationship between these over-the-top kind of media enterprises like MultiChoice. But one thing that is very clear is that if you hear what Mr. Samuel George, the Minister of Communications, Digital Technology and Innovations, has been saying, the issue has been really about pricing. They are saying there are very glaring pricing disparities that are happening. So, for example, somebody who is watching the same content in Nigeria is to pay something like $29, which amounts to like 515 rands. And the same person in Ghana is supposed to pay $83, which is almost like your 1.475 rands, which is a lot. And also, without taking anything away, we know that the cedi has also had a depreciation of almost like 200% over the last 8 years, which is significant. But if you look at the way in which this pricing model has been channeled, I think what has been happening is that there are certain premium media markets that DSTV has been focusing on. So one would be South Africa. So the prices in South Africa are comparative to Nigeria. They are almost also comparative to Kenya. But other smaller media markets where the numbers are not as big, for example, being Ghana being one of them, Zimbabwe being one of them, if you go to Namibia, the same. If you go to Angola, if you go to many other smaller countries, you would see that they are paying a lot for the same kind of content. And I think these pricing disparities are creating a situation where, unfortunately, these kinds of issues are coming to the fore. And I think he has got a right to raise these kinds of concerns for his own citizens.
You mentioned earlier on, Professor, the impact that the acquisition of MultiChoice by Canal Plus will have on the continent as far as, monopolizing the media landscape. But with them fully entering the African market, what difference is it going to bring to the paid TV market?
I think they are getting into this market with a situation when the appetite for satellite broadcasting is waning. And I think there is a lot that has been shown in terms of research that shows that in the last couple of years, DSTV has lost almost 2 million subscribers. And I think people are leaning towards streaming services. So you are seeing a lot of appetite for these over-the-top kind of platforms like your Netflix, like your YouTube Premium, like your Apple TV. These are increasingly becoming more popular than compared to the traditional satellite broadcasting. And I think, yes, they might be able to get a huge chunk of the market, but I think it will be for a short period, because if you are looking at the dynamics in terms of media consumption patterns, they are changing. People are preferring content where they can just pay for the little. So for those that like soccer, they would just want to buy packages that will allow them to watch soccer. For those that are into news, they would just want packages which would rather push them for news. If those who want a lifestyle and entertainment, the same. So increasingly, we are seeing a lot of customization, a lot of personalization in terms of media consumption. That changes again the game. So the traditional model of just saying they're going to have a bouquet which has got so many packages, I think it's no longer popular. And I think that is one thing that they have to look at when they're going forward.
Very, very interesting times, Professor. Thank you very much for your time this afternoon and your insight.
Thank you so much for having me. All the best.
Thank you. All the best to you too. That's Associate Professor in the Department of Communication and Media at the University of Johannesburg in South Africa. Really interesting to see what Canal Plus's business model will be post-acquisition. Do they intend to continue with business as usual, or will they take into account the changing landscape as well as consumer appetites and perhaps try and tailor-make the platforms that they now own in order to feed that? So we'll see as time moves forward. It's gone exactly 4:34 Central African time. Let's take a look at what the market